Hey everyone, today I'm going to be doing a small makeover in my laundry room. Before we get started, full disclosure, I totally messed up and didn't take proper before videos of this space. So here are a couple of pictures I was able to find of the before to give you an idea. It's not a bad room at all, it's totally functional, just a little plain and lacking personality. Before starting any makeover, I like to make a Pinterest board to gather inspiration images. I knew I wanted to add a board and batten wall and also some warm wood tones and a runner. I started by using blue tape to map out the height and spacing of my board and batten and to give myself a visual. And this next step is totally optional, but I decided to try and smooth out my wall texture on the area that's going underneath my boards. We have pretty heavy orange peel texture in our house, and I just thought the board and batten would look cleaner on a smoother surface. To smooth my wall, I opted to apply joint compound over the texture with a putty knife. I think next time I will try sanding the texture off to see if I get a better result. If you've removed orange peel texture before, let me know what method you used in the comments and how it worked for you. I don't know what it is about applying joint compound, but I really enjoy trying to get it as smooth as possible. It's very relaxing, kind of like one of those little Zen sand gardens. I realized I should probably remove the baseboard before completing the wall, so I switched gears and started doing that. See how the paint is pulling away from the wall here? This is why you should always cut along your caulking with a knife before removing stuff like this, which I clearly did not do, but that's okay because I will be installing a new 4-inch baseboard that will cover this mess. Before this, I had only removed baseboards over my laminate wood flooring, which come off very easy in comparison to this. The tile floor is installed over the baseboard, so these were a little more challenging to remove. Side note, I will also be doing this wall on my left, but I had to wait for our washer and dryer to be moved out of the room. So in the meantime, I'm just trying to get as much done as possible with them still in here. I like using joint compound because it can be wiped away or smoothed out with water. I did end up sanding later, but for the first pass, I used this wet cloth. Here's what it looks like after the first round of smoothing. As you can see here, there are some patches of wall texture showing through, so I'm going over them with another layer of joint compound. After my wall was dry and smoothed out, I started priming for paint. I'm using this little edging tool to speed up the painting process. It does the corners a lot faster than a regular paintbrush, and I even use it to paint small sections of the wall the roller won't fit in. After priming, I started to paint the bottom section of the wall. I'm using Agreeable Gray by Sherwin-Williams. Here's me realizing the smooth roller I bought was leaving a texture on my freshly smoothed wall. I tried painting with my edging tool to see if it was smoother, and it was, but then this happened. Hopefully the audio is not too terrible with the fan on. I just want to keep it real for you guys. Today is not a great day. I was doing the first coat of paint on this wall, and for starters, the roller that I used was, even though it said smooth on the packaging, it wasn't a foam roller because I couldn't find any big foam ones, but it textured my wall that I just, spent all this time trying to smooth out. So it left like this really orange peel looking texture on the wall, which I'm not loving, but the bigger problem is that I didn't know, but my drywall mud wasn't all the way dry underneath, so that caused the paint to peel. And as you can see, it's quite a large section of paint, so I'm gonna just give this some time to dry out and then give myself some time to figure out what to do. I decided to switch gears and paint the upper section of the wall. I'm using my favorite white paint from Baseboard. The color is called Dezaulait. The next day, after the room was cleared out, I got to work on the other wall. I removed the baseboard, and applied the joint compound. While I waited for the wall to dry, I primed and painted the top and adjacent wall. I also started patching the area that peeled off. I started by sanding all the edges to remove any loose, flaky paint. I gave it a coat of primer just to see if the sanding I did was good enough, but unfortunately it needed some filling in with joint compound. While waiting for that to dry, I decided to add the long horizontal boards to my first wall. I used 4x1 MDF boards for this part, and I attached them to the wall with construction adhesive. I added a few small nails by hand since I don't own a brad nailer yet, and I wanted to make sure they didn't slip, although I was very impressed with the strength of this construction adhesive. The next day I started out by sanding my joint compound wall and the patch. After cleaning the dust from sanding, I applied a coat of primer to both areas. And then paint. I did pick up a foam roller, but the store only had 6-inch ones. Although since I'm not painting a huge area, it was okay. It did a great job applying a nice smooth coat of paint. Once the paint was dry, I cut the rest of my boards on my table saw. This was actually my first time using it, and to be honest, I was a little intimidated, but I'm so glad I tried it out. I can't wait to use it again on another project. I attached my boards the same way as before with construction adhesive and small nails. This piece I'm attaching right here is what really elevates this board in Batten in my opinion. It's a 1x2 piece of MDF turned on its side. It creates a small ledge around the top of the trim. After adding the top trim piece, I attached all vertical boards. My vertical boards are 3x1 pieces of MDF. Then I added caulking to fill the seams and give everything a clean and polished look. While the caulk dried, I went out back to stain my washer and dryer stand. My husband and our good friend built this stand a couple of years ago, and I always had the intention of staining it, so I guess now's the time. I'm using one of my favorite stains. It's a gel stain by Minwax that my best friend recommended to me after I was complaining about the odor of an oil-based stain I was using. It dries much faster in comparison and has a much lower odor. The color is called Hickory, and it's a pretty medium warm tone. I used it on my mantle as well. I went back inside to finish painting the board and batten after the caulking was dry. And to give my not-so-cute utility sink a little update, I'm using this marble contact paper from Amazon. I will link it and everything else in the description below. So when shopping for runners for this room, I came across this one on Wayfair. It was a closeout sale for $15, but here's the catch. There were no pictures of the actual runner, just the larger version of this print. I don't know if any of you play Animal Crossing and are familiar with Sahara, the mystery rug vendor, but every time she visits my island, I buy one of every rug she has. And apparently my penchant for mystery rugs carries over into real life as well. But for $15, how could I say no? The rug is sold out now. It does say it will be back in stock in September. I don't know how accurate that is, but I will link it in the description if you want to check it out. To finish off this room makeover, I did a little decorating, hanging this thrifted frame and installing this hook. Let's take one more look at the before. And here is my finished laundry room. I had a great time with this makeover and I am so happy with how it turned out. I hope you all enjoyed this video and thank you so much for watching. You can follow me on Instagram at happyhomemama.diy and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this one. Have a great day.